Say, I've not asked you to do anything in this house, just that one thing I can't physically work with anymore, my back hurts, blah, 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 blah. Say, I love living here, but I can't get this sorted. Can you please, give me £600 and let me get the thing lifted? Alternatively, give me 1 month rent free so I can turn around and get it done myself.
Yeah.
And then get it actioned.
Yeah.
See, when somebody tells me in a defined, definitive way, this is what I'm going to get done, this is the quotation, before they've even asked me for the money. Say, here's a quotation. It'll cost £500 or £600 to get new worktops and fitted by a chippy. This is the guy who's going to lift it and is going to lift everything up.
Yeah.
Before anything else. So here's a couple of quotations, this is what it is. Would you like me to get this done, or would you like to get it done? Then we use a double bind process.
Yeah.
So we double bind them with an illusion of a message.
Yeah.
Say it's now a bit hard on my back, and so it's rather hard for me to work in this way. I need it lifting by X inches.
Yeah.
So my first suggestion would be is to go and get yourself a chippy, call him in, and ask him the height it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then work backwards from there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and then get a quotation in, and then go to the landlord with a quote. That's how I do that.
Right. Okay.
So here's the point. Here's the real benefits of lease.
Right.
Okay. So the benefits of lease are this: the landlord on bias to landlord. This is yes. They have a regular income of 5 years. The landlord can turn around and write into the lease certain things such as maintenance at certain levels, sustainability, repair, conditioning. And on an AST they can't do that. On an AST they have to put a deposit in. They have to prove that you've diversified, that you've broken something.
Yes.
To the back. With the lease they'll say, this is what it looks like right now, here's the pictures of this, you need to maintain this in this context.
Yes.
And they can actually allocate things such as, you are liable for, and it's all legal in the lease, for all communication with city council and council tax.
Yes.
You are liable for utilities. They can fix it and say, you are liable for broken windows, for carpets and replacing because you have dogs, laminated floors, anything they want to do, they can actually put it into the lease. This is the benefit from the landlord. The upside is that they will actually have that lease lodged with the city council, registered with the city council like normal, and the property's value goes up because of the fact that it's got a lease on it. It's also the fact that this means that they are not going to be prosecuted for virtually anything on that lease. On an AST, the landlord can still be prosecuted for certain key things. On a lease, they can't be prosecuted for not having fire doors in the place because they've got HMO, or they can't do this because on the lease, I've leased it to this company. And they are a single lessee of the whole of this property. So it's up to them, right? So they are the benefits of that lease. But the upside, the benefit is that it's actually, if they lodge it, it works in their advantage with their mortgage. It will show that they've got a longer term lease.
Yeah.
Individual.
Probably
no mortgage.
Probably no mortgage.
Yeah, but it still gets registered. Very good idea, very good answer. But it still gets registered with City Council. You put it onto a leasing register. It puts on the system and it puts value to the building because somebody says, well, we've got somebody there who's willing to live for 5 years if they ever want to sell it. They don't want to, right? But here's the point. And here's the benefits for the owner, for the tenant. The tenant has a surety for 5 years. They know they won't get chucked out. To cancel the lease is damn sight harder than it is to cancel an AST. Whereas really an AST, if it's past its period of exposure, of tie-in, you've really got 90 days to lock the person out. Yeah, so 3 months is your vulnerability. Here it's not the case. For the tenant, the benefit of it is they can put into the clause and say, I would like to ensure that I'm first person to refuse renewal. Yeah?
So first person for renewal.
Yeah, so in 5 years' time, they'll offer it to you before they offer it to anybody else.
Yeah.
AST doesn't have any kind of control of that.
Yeah.
So this is now for the tenant, yes?
Yeah.
So the lessee. So the lessee can turn and say, I want first refusal. If I was to renew it, you have to give me, you could request this, not have to, the current rent plus maybe 5%, 10%, and I'll stick to that instead of it being the current market rent. So there's the benefits of that. So the benefit of a lease is that you can have a repair all, so the beneficial for the landlord, but for the tenant it also means that they've got certain flexibility that they can do with the building. They can maintain the kitchen, they can maintain the sockets, they can do certain value-added stuff without...
Yeah, because we're going to have to... It's actually dangerous what we're doing at the moment, what I'm doing at the moment with the plugs.
Okay.
because I'm putting too many plugs on a four-way. I mean, I have a plug in
with four
at the bottom, and it's ridiculous because my juicer, my blender, my Magimix, my kettle, my toaster.
Wow.
I mean, there's 2 plugs in the whole kitchen. It's ridiculous. In the sitting room, there's 2 plugs, and I've got wires trailing across the floor. Okay, I put a rug over them, but it's ridiculous. It hasn't been done since the 60s, the wiring.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Have a look at your gripes.
Yeah.
Such as, make a list of this and say, kitchen, electricals, yes?
Yeah.
And thus the lighting, as you said, the lighting is atrocious as well.
Yeah. And also damp.
Okay, so damp. And what's wrong with the lighting?
The lighting is you've got no plugs to have a standard lamp anywhere.
Okay.
So I can't unless I do this thing across the.
Which is again, but the main lamps, are they not enough?
There is one in each room, yes, but you know, yeah, there is one in each room, which is all that's required.
Yeah. So what we could do is maybe change the lampshades.
Yeah.
For more than one bulb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And go for a multitude of bulbs, maybe one with a 3.
Yeah.
So
well, that would be up to me. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very much so.
Certain things will make it to that.
The main double glazing doors, French doors, have all lost their seals. All the seals have gone. Mm-hmm. And I swear when the wind's blowing in the right direction, it can blow a candle out. So the double glazing don't work anymore. When I lost the ceiling of this bit, we realised when the builders came in to fix the ceiling how badly the double glazing had been put in. Nothing fits the bits.
So they just.
It's been a bodge job.
So they just filled it.
Yeah, okay. It's been horrendous. You know, really seen that. I mean, it sounds, and it hasn't been decorated, I don't think, till the 60s. But I'm so used to, when I was used to, it doesn't matter what the building looks like. It's your home, and you've got your furniture in there, and therefore it's your home. And after a while, I don't see it.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So, what could you do to make certain parts of it a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I'd really like the double glazing sorted out in the sitting room. I mean,
It is double glazed.
It is double glazed, but it ain't works. Doesn't work.
So the rubber seals are probably gone.
All the seals are gone. You get
draft.
You get condensation between the 2 panes.
But then that's double glazing is failed. So that means basically the glass is actually letting air and moisture in.
Yes.
So the seals are gone.
Yeah, and also then you have where the door opens, it's letting the draft in still.
Oh, round side. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a question to yourself. Do you have a copy of his house insurance?
No, I wouldn't.
It might be a good idea just to get a copy of it.
Right.
I'll tell you why. Because, is this a young person, old person?
He must be 45.
Yeah,
landlord.
So I'd suggest chatting with him. And maybe don't get a copy because that would be quite intrusive.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling, yeah.
So go to him and say, did you know that we can get these windows by placing under your insurance?
Yeah.
Just ask him, do you have insurance for the building?
Well, you must do, yes.
Yeah. Buildings, he'll have what's called a buildings only, not contents.
Yes, that's right.
But then the windows should be covered under buildings insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
So you might get that. Definitely the damp can be done under building insurance.
Yeah, right, and damp.
The only thing that would not go under there is a modernisation of the electrical sockets.
Yeah.
That's not really an insurance issue.
No.
But they definitely will. The windows will definitely get replaced.
Right. And I have, when the guy comes round to check me up every 6 months, this is the letting agent comes to check me up every 6 months, I tell him about the damp every single time. He said, I do write it down, I promise. I said, well, nothing's ever done about it. And there's also damp in the bathroom, and I know why that is, because I have showers. Yeah. And I don't have the window open when I'm having a shower,
But afterwards.
As soon as I open it.
Yeah. So now what we need
is a fan. I know what it's needed. It needs a fan in there.
And in this day and age, it's really cheap to cut the fan into the glass.
Yeah.
You know, the top fan, and just circle and then off it goes.
Yeah.
So we need we just need a fan.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Get them to put a fan in there.
Yeah.
So smaller things like that.
Because I've been a landlord myself.
You know it.
I know it, and I know, that's what showers do. And it is the damp. I mean, in the dining room. Well, actually, fact, I think most rooms have damp in them somewhere. And somebody said, oh, that's condensed, that's damp because you don't ventilate it. And I went, these French doors are open 20 times a day to let the dogs in and out.
Do you think I might ventilate them?
I think I've ventilated it enough, And then in the summer, they're open 12 hours a day,
Okay, so we've got possible ventilation issues, etc., etc. That's what they think. But the reality is that whatever it is, the damp is out.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's beneficial for them to get the damp sorted, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And damp can be covered under insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
So just prompt.
Yes.
Do you have access to the landlord directly?
Oh yes, because I do. I mean, I asked him about one thing and I got hold of him for, he gave me a telephone number and I thought,
Got it.
Mistake number one. But I don't abuse it.
No, of course not.
No.
So my suggestion would be is to probably send him a little SMS.
Yeah.
And say, I'd really love a little conversation if I could.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Just to share.
Yeah, that's what I would like.
Everything in a humble way. And so I'm just wondering, I don't really want to cause an issue for yourself, but do you have buildings insurance?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Okay, so I mentioned this to the agent before.
Yeah.
The windows, the seals and stuff.
Yeah.
And also the damp course, etc.
Yeah.
Can be replaced and repaired under warranty, under the insurance of the property. And they say, I don't want to cause a problem, but it'd be really lovely if you could get that sorted.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to decorate whilst...
With the damp?
No, there's no point.
So I'd really love to get that damp seal sorted.
Yeah.
Now, 99% of the time, and I'm going to share with you, what year is this made?
The house was 1930s.
Okay, so it's usually what we call the two-foot foundations.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get it?
Yeah.
1900, 1930s, that sort of time frame, late 1800s.
Yeah.
They used to do what we call a two-foot foundation.
Yeah.
It's not deep foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually because they have to test the soil first.
Yes.
But Lincoln's not high clay.
No.
Here's a very clay environment, so there's very little two-foot foundation houses. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're the old school.
We're on sand.
Pre-war, yes, post-war, pre-war, two-foot foundations. They're like literally that's the depth of the foundation. So
it's under a bay window in the dining room, and it's just.
It seeps in there.
It's not quite black, but it's literally all. Because I keep every so often I wipe them down.
You wipe it down yourself.
Yeah. But it comes back.
Okay. So, what's the heating like in the house?
It's gas central heating.
Does work?
It works fine.
Boiler. Okay. So.
It's a modern boiler.
So it's nothing to do with the fact that the heating's not on. Okay.
No.
So.
And I have the heating on from 7 in the morning until 10 at night, and it comes on when it gets to 18.
18 degrees.
18. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the point. What I'm trying to get at is the reason why I'm bringing this conversation up is because sometimes heat causes the problem, but it's not heat, it's nothing at all.
Yeah.
Ventilation, yes, of course. But at the end of the day, because they've got such shallow foundations, usually that's the reason why the damp cuts in.
Yeah.
Because they've never had damp course.
No.
The houses in those areas, in that era, never had damp course.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be to just get a re-damp course. It's really cost effective.
Yeah.
Under insurance.
Right.
The insurance will cover it. The property's got damp in it. Okay, right, fine. What's the damp? So they need to get 3 or 4 quotations in place and get it done. So one of the things I would do, if I was a tenant, I would get the things that I want done in quotation format.
Yeah. Yeah.
So always remember, ask for exactly what I want, and people don't get annoyed with you. For example, I just need the shelving lifted, the worktop lifted 4 inches.
Yeah.
That's it. This is the cost, by the way. It'll cost nothing else, and we just increase this is the cost for increasing the height. Can I get this done?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You're going to cover it, but can I get it done? 1. The windows, what will the cost be to reseal the windows? So what you do is you call in somebody like a window doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell them to come and have a look at this, to refurb the windows, okay? And then get a quotation, written quotation from them.
Yeah.
Then you get the damp course people in and get them to do a written quotation.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got 3 things that you want doing. Now you have a meeting with them and say, I've just got these 3 things. I'm not causing a lot here, by the way. I just wanted to have this discussion with you.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just ask you a question? What sort of percentage do you pay the agent? Because I've been here for quite some time. Because I'd like to turn this into putting a little bit more cash in your pocket. I'd like to turn this into a lease, so you don't have to have an agent in between.
Mm. And I would think that it's about 10%.
About right.
Yeah.
But the point is, you'll say to them, so look, you can save 58 quid or 60 pound or whatever it is, because what we're going to do is I'm just going to give you an example. You can come out of this one. So I work within property quite regularly and just give you advice. If you turn this into a 5-year lease, it'll actually be beneficial for you because you'll have saved £58 a month, around £700 a year in your pocket. So 700 by 5, does that make sense? So you can now build up the case and say 52, £5,200 in your pocket over 5 years instead of in the agent's hand. And I'm happy to keep a tab on things.
Yeah.
For you. Right. And can I just ask a couple of things? You just want to get the windows refurbed. Here, by the way, it'll cost you about £3,000 or £2,000 or £150 or £250 per window, but they need to get sorted. But here's the point. Have you got insurance? They'll do this for nothing. And it'll increase the value of the property, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
That's the kind of flow I take. And I'll take it really nicely and gently and softly.
Yeah, I've got a very good relationship with him. I mean, when he told me that and I went and panicked, he found out that I panicked. He rang me up in a panic.
I didn't need to do this to you, didn't I?
Yeah, he said, Trina, we're not going to sell it. We're not going to chuck you out. You're a very good tenant. I know I shouldn't be telling you this, but you're a good tenant.
Yeah. So here's the same again. So you have a good working relationship with him. Say, is it possible just to get a couple of things done under insurance?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to make any payments. I just want you to pay the insurance. But the insurance has been paid.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get the windows refurbed, the damp course sorted, and if possible, the worktop and the electrical work. This will really, really bring it up to a lovely standard of living. I can get rid of all these extra cables. I'm getting on a little. I have to say this. Just say it to move the conversation in its head. I'm getting on a little. I don't want to be caught out by not lifting my foot high enough. On one day, when I may go fight this, because the dogs do catch it and do lift it up, and it might.
And carpets. Mats walk.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And so the run of the carpet, I don't want to get that involved.
Yeah.
That's the kind of things I.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Has it helped a little bit?
Brilliantly.
Because it's just the beauty of communication with them. And once you've got it in your head, what I've noticed is that you get it done because you can see it.
Yeah. And do we put extra money down, or do we? For
what?
For a lease, or no?
No, you don't need to at all.
No.
In fact, the bond that you've put in gets released.
Oh, brilliant! Yes.
So this is a lease, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's no reason for any of that.
Great.
It's a lease. It's a proper lease. He can't. The aim of the game is that you're not going to leave him in the lurch, and he's not going to leave you in the lurch. That's the purpose of the lease. Yeah. And I'm hoping that the overall plan is that in 5 years I will have enough money that I can buy somewhere, because I'd like to be in my own home again. 100%.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest you do to start the visualization process is look at what the property is, but before you start speccing it out.
Yeah.
This is the kind of house I'm looking for. This is the kind of property project or the value I look for, etc., etc.
Yes.
What is the value of the one that you're living in?
It's, when I checked it out, when he said he was going to sell it, I got an estate agent to give me a quote, and it was 160, and I knew I couldn't afford it then because I didn't have 160.
Are you ever going to get a mortgage?
I'm 66 this year.
Still don't believe it.
I know you don't. Love you for saying that.
I'm only saying the truth. I really don't care. I'm not telling the truth.
They do say you can get a mortgage up until you're 90.
So my suggestion would be...
Yeah, but my problem...
Income.
income.
Don't worry. Speak to, you've been given Joe's number before. Joe Singh.
Not for mortgages.
Finance, okay. So I'll find his number, I'll give it to you now. Just to find out what the parameters would be to buy that actual house.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't think we'd want it because it's got so much gone wrong with it.
But that tells me, that it's a most amazing investment.
Oh yeah, well yes, I can see that. But Colin says, would you usually spend 160 on it when you know the kitchen's not right?
Yeah.
This is not right. This is not right.
So this is where my brain cuts in. My brain would say, I need to spend £50,000 on this house.
Yes.
Good. I'll give you 120 for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it? Mm-hmm. So that's where I'd be going. 120, 130, whatever it is, and get BMV on the product, keep it.
Yeah.
And then slowly get the work done.
Yeah.
Or invest in such a way that you utilise the money, the capital, to make it right.
Yeah.
But that's how I would look at it.
Yeah.
Which property was it? I like to give you exact numbers in that lot. It's number Lincoln Road, 700 something. Okay, Lincoln Road. 738? Might be 738, okay? 738 Lincoln Road here in Peterborough. Property, I could clearly see was run down. Property, I could see that it needed just a simple loft conversion. Structurally, the houses are absolutely perfect for the third story, or the second story as they call them here. It needed a tremendous amount of work doing to it, in the sense of electrics were sub-quality. The gas central heating were just gas pipes, gas fires that needed to be stripped. It had no boiler, so it didn't need one. It had it was actually time warp stuck in 1953, and the gas fires.
Yeah, I've got a gas fire in the dining room.
Yeah, and they had well, it's cool to have gas fires. It's like a real cool thing.
Yeah.
But they're the old vintage gas fires, and also they had simple what do they call them? Sorry, I apologise.
Immersion heater for hot water.
Hot water. That
Yes.
was it.
Yeah.
So that's all they were using. So this whole thing sitting there beautifully. I purchased it in the end. I'm just saying, But I went in there. They wanted the actual property itself, to be honest, was probably worth about 180 to 190,000 pounds if it was done properly. That's without the conversion of the ceiling, the roof, etc. I bought that property for 125,000 pounds, and we spent 20,000 on it. You don't need. If it's there to be re-let, you're not going to sell it, right? You've got to bring it to letting standard, not to living standard. Not to, I would love this to be done.
No.
Or, I've got to sell this property, so I need to make it look really slick. No, you don't. It's a vanilla upgrade. Yeah. But everything that needs to be done. So, £4,000, thereabouts, on central heating, boilers and stuff of this nature. Done. Yeah. Get rid of all the scrap.
Yeah. I mean, the boiler is 4 years old.
Yeah, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you an example. That's the kind of stuff we did. Windows were double glazed, by the way, ironically. Very poorly fitted. So I just called my local window doctor out, replaced every handle, replaced every rubber seal, anything that was physical that could be done. What the benefit was that the glass panes didn't have any moisture in them like you've got, so you didn't have to replace the glass. So everything else was replaced. Everything else. Then the decorators sealed the outside frame. Job done. Just little things like this, just minor things. That is more closer to 18,000. Why? Because we did a conversion of the loft as well.
Yeah.
So the loft conversion was done.
I mean,
single bed, that kind of thing.
The sort of thing. There's some lovely cupboards in the hallway. There's understairs I can't use because it's damp. The cupboard in the hallway, I left my suede coat in there, and oops, it got damp. But it's a lovely cupboards. It's for storage. Yeah. In the kitchen, there are some lovely cupboards, which I keep all my glasses. I have a hell of a lot of glass. I mean, this is drinking glass.
Oh, right.
And I have 2 shelves of it, and they're really, cupboard must be that deep.
Oh, lovely.
Really, and it's about that wide, so they're really...
That's a really big place.
And then they've got tall
ceilings.
Yes.
Yeah, that explains it.
Yeah, and then they've got 3 drawer spaces underneath, where 3 drawers were. Drawers aren't there anymore.
Okay. So what you could do is just a little question in your head. It needs a little bit of ingenuity. Okay, so this is what I would do. I would take the dimensions of your kitchen.
Yeah.
Into Wix or B&Q.
Yes.
B&Q specifically. They do a free design.
Yeah. And I've got a huge pantry.
I love it.
Which has got, it's the shelf, it must be...
1.5 feet deep.
Yeah. And then there's 2 shelves there, and then it's got a washing machine, and then it must have a gap of that wide as well.
So it's clearly a walk-in pantry.
Oh, it's a real walk-in pantry, and I've got 2 shelves going around 2 sides of it.
I love it.
So it's got lots of lovely space, but it's just been so badly designed.
Yeah. So what we need to do is basically you just get it designed. Here's the point. Here's what I'm trying to say. So you get it designed from them, and then say, have you got any clearance kitchens that might fit?
Yeah.
Now you've got the design from them. You can pop in it sporadically, every now and again, and get it picked up.
Yeah.
Or if you're really, we're developers, right? We're investors. You can find a good chippy.
Yeah.
And just get them to build it. Get the design.
Yeah.
I know that's money, but that's not talking about you. I'm talking about your landlord.
Yeah. Well, I've also actually thought if you wanted to put a new kitchen in there, I'd tell him to go to LPNG. I think I've got the letters correct. Pay £200 for a year's subscription, and get the Wix very, very cheaply. Kitchens. You'd save more than it cost the £200 and odd to join there, because they do kitchens very reasonably.
So they're basically what are they?
It's landlords. I can't remember what it stands for, but they are a nationwide agency that you can get windows cheap, get carpets cheap, you can get kitchens, you can get bathrooms. And they go around to all these companies and said, we've got...
We'll take all your clearance.
No, we've got 500... No, we've got, say, 5,000 landlords.
Buying club.
It's a buying club.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's it's very good. I mean, I joined it for 1 year to get a boiler cheaper, and it was worth me paying that to get the boiler cheaper.
Did you think, how much did you save on the boiler?
I've saved about £200.
That's a substantial change, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you've got a few hundred properties, that's quite good as well.
Absolutely.
So here's the point. If you could personally give me that link, I'd be grateful.
Yeah.
B, for me, I'll just reference it to what I already buy.
Yeah.
I buy very large, very, very heavy discounts anyway, but I'll do that.
Yeah.
That'd be really lovely for me. But B, get more facilitating with your own actions, what you require. Get them done, get them out of the way, set up a timeline and say, tomorrow's already the 1st.
Yes.
So give yourself 2 weeks. Yeah. In 2 weeks, mid June that is. Have somebody come in and quote the windows. Have somebody in quoting for the wiring. Have somebody in quoting for the increase in the shelf centre, or even get that done, and then also one for the kitchen, and then have somebody in for the damp proofing.
Yeah.
Okay. And out of those things, ask him what can you get past your insurers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the principle of the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So get that past him, and then say, well, what we've got is we've got a renovation issue.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's an indication for what
to do.
Yeah,
that's right.
The windows, I think, are necessary.
Oh, absolutely.
The damp proofing, I think, is necessary.
So do I.
And they're guaranteed to be done under insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That we know.
Yeah.
One thing I'd like you to look at is going to the pound stores and buy yourself what we call condensation capture.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So they use silica gel, and they pop them into a little ball.
Yeah.
And then get one of them and put them into every area that you know that there is an issue
damp,
with.
Yeah.
Only the cupboards, because the dogs will eat it.
Right.
Yeah. So cupboard 1, cupboard 2, cupboard 3, pantry, bathroom, all of these sort of areas, pop them there.
Yeah.
And what they do is they build up. You get a build-up of fluid. You just tip the fluid down there, and put it back down again.
Yeah.
Do that immediately.
Yeah, I will do. Right.
Pennies pennies for the case.
Yeah, I've seen them actually, yes.
Yeah, pennies.
Yeah.
Just invest them, take 10, pop them around the place.
Yeah.
Put one in the pantry, one under the staircase, one over there. Just because you should.
Yeah.
For own health consciousness, that's what I'm interested in.
That's right,
definitely, for the bathroom.
Yeah.
I've probably put a couple in there.
Yeah.
The other place I think which is necessary would be the pantry, because sometimes you have things in there which are edibles, may be effective.
Actually, I don't think there's any damp in the pantry. I haven't smelt it.
Yeah, and I think you'll realise why, because obviously there's a lot of cardboard and bits in there which absorbs moisture.
Yes.
So that's the reason why. So pop your bit there to keep the air from being slightly better.
Yeah.
That's principally it, just little things like that.
Yeah, and there's one cupboard, there's a corner cupboard that I know is damp. Every time I open it, I go...
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that corner cupboard needs one in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it has china and stuff in it, so I don't put
packets
there, but it still needs...
wash it before you use it anyway.
Yeah.
You do anyway.
Yeah.
The question I was asking in this question, are these helpful?
Yes.
Get some of these things cured from your brain, because a compliant C is knowing the compliant C, and I know you as with my heart. The compliant C requires just that little bit of these things ticked off.
Yes.
So I'd love you to turn around
and it's about... I hadn't twigged that it could be done on insurance. Because I was thinking it's going to cost him money. It's going to cost him money, and I was always thinking
for his pocket, which is absolutely respectful.
Yeah, for his pocket. I mean, it's just that simple.
Well, that's Trina.
Yeah.
It is. There is Trina. So why think anything different? It assists you. You show DNA. You're a lovely person, and that's the reality. So that's not going to change anything.
No.
So just be yourself, embrace it, and absolutely, I understand that. So accept it and say, right, okay, so I'm going to help you. To me, this is how you help somebody. Not by not telling them, but by saying, guess what? That I think you can get on your insurance. You know, this damn, I can get this sorted with the insurance. It'll sort your stuff out, plus my health, the dog's health, etc.
Yeah.
So, but I need a timeline on this.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to give you to the end of June.
Yeah.
Second week, you need to get your quotations in. So it's kind of an immediacy. By the second week, when you come to the BBRs, I'd love you to turn and tell me I've got some of these actions done.
Yeah.
I've got these quotations, this quotation. And please bring them with you. Just say,
yeah,
not for me, for everybody else. Say, look, I've done it. There's the quotation. That's it, job done. And then by the end of June, for us to turn and say, just get me the insurance claim and I'll help you claim it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just so we can get this claim done, because it just needs to be done. Look, it'll cost about £1,500. These windows need doing.
Yeah.
But it can come off your insurance.
Yeah.
So get your insurers to come out, loss adjust it, walk away.
Yeah.
Two things.
Yeah.
Dampen windows.
Yeah.
And a funny thing is, if he may say it might be due to ventilation, say, I fully appreciate that, but if you can come to my house, just spend one day with us and see how ventilating the windows truly are when they're closed, you'll get my point.
Yeah.
In a nice way.
Yeah. Yes, because I mean, it's when the wind blows from the south, it really does.
You can feel it.
Oh yeah, it cuts your ankles off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how are you managing that right now?
Oh, I have a terribly awful. I have a rug.
I knew it. A rug in front of it.
No, I don't have a rug. I've got curtains that come down to the floor. And they do come down. It's about that much too much. They're onto the floor, and I have a rug, a mohair rug that I shove around me.
Okay.
I mean,
the dogs love it.
Yeah.
So
they often actually are the.
Hot.
They are actually the. Can't think of the word. God, ridiculous.
Are they your doorstops?
They're my door draft excluders.
Yeah, they sit there.
Yeah, because they like it because it keeps them cool. And although the heating's up to 18, sometimes the sitting room is the coldest room in the house because of the draft, but sometimes in the mornings it's the hottest room in the house because of the sun. Yeah, so,
and I can really appreciate that with the dogs, because you can't actually heat the house up too much because it just make them...
No, and although the dog, I hate to say it to the dogs, I come first and then the dogs.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
But there's areas in the house that you can lock off for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting there. Got a good process. I'd love you to make, if you don't mind, a little list for your own self. And the list is on your Mac.
Yeah.
On your Mac, if you go into Notes.
Yes.
Okay, and in Notes you can create it's a little tick. It looks like a tick.
Yeah.
You click that button and it becomes they become bullet points on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And on there, I'd like you to just write down all the things that are currently challenging with the property.
Yeah.
Why? Get it out of your head, and I'll see you become a lot lighter in spirit.
Yeah.
So, because you're really at a great place right now, and I want you to turn around and write down, yep, drop excluder, windows, some of the glass panes not well, handles, keys don't necessarily lock, condensation issues in the bathroom, then you could say damp issues in the front room, drawing room, etc. Under cupboard, all those things. Just write them all down. Get them out of your conscious and conscious with a burden, and let that title be current challenges with property, or current property works. That's a nicer way of saying that. Challenges. Current property works. So then you can just keep writing it on there. And then what you'll do is get a certain stage, I'd love you to turn around and identify the ones which you know can be pulled underneath an insurance, and the others are not. And the ones which aren't, I respect that. In over a period of time, we'll get them done.
Yeah.
I would really love you to get your kitchen sorted, because the kind of house-proud person you are, if you get your kitchen sorted, it's like...
Absolutely. I mean, there is nowhere to put... when I'm working in the kitchen, at Christmas, I scream.
No surfaces.
No surfaces. No surfaces at all.
Is it big enough to put a...
It's a big kitchen. It's just appallingly designed. It's got 3 doors in it.
Oh, right, okay.
Because you've got the one to outside, you've got the pantry door, and you've got the door into the kitchen itself.
In the kitchen.
Yeah. Then you've got an archway where obviously the range used to be, which you've got the boiler in.
Okay.
You've got 2 cupboards. I can't use, they're so full of damp, I don't use them at all. These are cupboards which are built into the wall.
Yes, that's old school style.
Old school style.
Yeah.
And it's just a nightmare, yet it's a big kitchen.
So what I'd love to say is probably even think about this by getting yourself a little table, if there's space for it.
Not now. We've put a big cage in there, so...
Got it. So that answers that question. Otherwise, if you had a table in there, you could pop what we call a slightly high table, not a dining room table.
No.
A high table, which then acts as a worktop.
Yeah.
So it's lifted slightly higher, acts as a worktop.
Yeah.
See, part of the moment in the kitchen we've got right now, we haven't changed it because I love, she does as well, and Dad does and I do, we love restoration.
Yes.
We like to restore things. And the kitchen's original.
Lovely.
It's made out of solid oak. I don't want to...
Really rip it out?
I don't want to do anything with it. Many people say, you go for a modern kitchen. Yes, that's right, I would, and I could, but I won't.
Yeah.
It's not bad, I can't spend for it.
No.
It's not that at all. It's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Does part need it changing? No. Maybe we might change the worktops, which is going to come soon. Yes. That will really refresh the flow.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But there's certain things like, for example, we've got this cabinet, we've got this separator. You remember in the 1970s, a lot of rooms were separated by wooden structures.
Yes.
But they were usually with shelves.
Yes.
It's like a two-way shelf.
Yeah.
So you've got like it's just open, right?
Yeah.
But you have just like a wooden frame, and you have like a shelf there, and you can pop things on there to make 2 rooms look beautiful.
Yes.
So we're actually that's the only thing that I'm planning to do. It's a 1970s edition. It's the only thing I'm going to plan to trim down, remove, and thus it'll open up the kitchen. Yeah. The kitchen's not a small place. It's a big old kitchen. But it just means that it'll be lovely and open.
Yeah.
The kitchen originally, pre-1977, when he had the kitchen redone, had ceilings this high. Yeah. Which then made it A, very hard to heat.
Yes.
B, very hard to expel air because it
just went up.
It went up. Yeah. And C, even when you had the expeller sat in there, it wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't suck the air out of the area, right? So you always had those stenchy smells. Yeah. So what he did is he had the whole thing dropped by 2.5 foot, and it's now what we call an 8-foot ceiling, or is it a 9? It's probably an 8-foot or a 9-foot ceiling. Yeah. So it's quite a high ceiling, and he's brought it down to that. The previous owner has. Yeah. He brought it down to that level. It's still that big outside. From the outside you can still see the edges inside if you really know what you're looking for, and there's still a gap between the 2 ceilings, which is great for us because it acts as an engineering. Yeah. But inside, underneath that, if I wanted to be really clever, we could take the whole of the ceiling out and we'll get the old ceiling back again. But we don't need to because it looks quite cool. It looks nice, and it makes it into a modern kitchen as opposed to big old vintage kitchen. So I'm just giving an example. Little things like that I would do to the kitchen, but probably I'm not going to change it. We really love it. I think it's a beautiful kitchen. I mean, there's enough space there for what we call a central island and bits and bobs. Possibly I don't actually like that because I'm not really the type of person who wants to walk around my kitchen like a maze.
Yeah.
I love this open space here. So I love to be able to go, hey, and over this worktop and this worktop and this worktop, instead of having to go around
a thing in the middle.
A thing in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's really great for modern eating.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But old traditional
kitchens
or old traditional chefs don't like that middle island.
No.
Because it means that they have to walk around it.
Yeah. You should have a triangle in a kitchen.
Really?
Yeah. Cooker, washing up, and fridge.
Okay. Cooker, hand wash, and fridge.
Yeah.
Okay, got it?
Or the sink,
So they should be on one side each?
Not necessarily, but they shouldn't be miles from each other. One of the kitchens, Old Forest Mill, the fridge, the kitchen and dining room was about this length, this room, narrower, but about the kitchen part was all up this end and the fridge was right down the other end. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So we did a little portion of wall halfway along
popped it in the middle.
and made it to fit the freezer and the fridge.
Now, that's what I believe was the current problem pre-1977 with the house.
Yeah.
Because it's a big kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, comparatively.
Yeah.
And there was a section which was known as the larder window.
Yeah.
And the meats were cut in the cold room.
Yes.
And they'll pass through a little hatch.
Yeah.
This is a manor house.
Yeah.
It was passed through a hatch, and that hatch was then a different surface for different areas and work. And all that's been removed, and it's been made into a smaller kitchen on one side and one side sitting area. I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
So you're spot on there. That's what happened. So the current kitchen is, if this was the rear aspect, which it is, it's cooker. Yeah.
Heat. And you shouldn't have to walk miles, because that is really where you're going to be walking. Those are the 3 ones.
Beautiful.
So they have those 3.
It's actually exactly how that was. And from a lot of design work within kitchens and stuff, in hindsight makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But now we know the Holy Grail in the context.
Yeah, that's right, because that's where most people do all their walking.
Yeah. And the only challenge we've got in our kitchen, the one thing that I don't like, Parv doesn't really mind, is the oven is next to the fridge.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
No, but it's designed in. It's a completely built-in kitchen, so it's already there.
Yeah.
There is a double thermal panel between it, so it doesn't heat it up, but it is still next to it.
Yeah.
Now, as much as we do or do not understand or agree, it will make an effect.
Yeah, yeah. If it's got double thermal, you should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it does heat up, and the air outside does heat up. So when you're opening up the fridge and the oven is on, it will suck in hot air.
When I designed my kitchen, when I was doing it in
commercial,
it was a family kitchen, but I used it commercially. So it looked like an ordinary kitchen. You wouldn't have known it was commercial.
Right. The appliances were upgraded.
I had an island, a peninsula in the middle of it, and when they came to fit it, he said, "I'm terribly sorry. This has got to be higher. The surface has got to be higher than the rest of the kitchen because it's the gas pipe, and we can't move the gas pipe." And I went, "Okay." It was the best decision I ever made.
Really?
Because I was doing a lot of pastry work.
And for yourself, it's at perfect height?
It was higher than you would normally have for a working kitchen.
So you weren't rolling here, you were rolling kind of here?
Yeah, so you weren't having to... It was brilliant, but it was just a fluke. So when
we live and we learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah.
See, I think that's lovely thoughts. And going forward, I think... in your kitchen, I think there's certain learning elements that should be brought in.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you have these little moments, can I inspire you?
Yes, of course you can.
Grab your book and just write down how you would design a kitchen.
Yeah.
Do you know we have these little thoughts of, well, yeah, when I did this, when I did that. Okay, Suki said to me, whenever the word starts or the sentence starts in my brain or externally when, if it starts with a when, I want to know what.
Yeah.
So it's a when I did this, I had this done to my kitchen, this is what happened. Okay, so what does that mean? And that's what I'd like to hear and see. So why do I get you to do this? I'll explain. So they're fresh in your brain. At some stage you can turn around and share your thoughts with whoever it wants. But once you've written it once, it's like your brain becomes very active and very aware of it. And I'm not sharing anybody else's brain, I'm saying your brain.
Yeah.
It's once you've spoken through it once, you have an articulation that kicks in. And that articulation says, oh, by the way, if you're designing your kitchen, make sure you've got that, and also if you are putting an island or a peninsula in the centre, make it 2 inches higher, just so you can get some more work done.
Yeah. And the other thing I treated myself to was a gag new deep fat fryer, and next door to it had a ventilation, but it's instead of being above and sucking it up, it sucked it out, down and out.
Down and out, okay.
Yeah, so the fat came, the fat was there, the smell from the fat went straight out without having to go 4 foot.
Or 3 feet. Yes, that's right, so they give it more chance to get out.
Yeah.
Go straight out. Oh, that's very clever.
And then next door to that, I had a barbecue grill.
Interesting.
Which had lava stones in it. And then a metal thing. And
the lava stones would heat up with gas?
With electric. And it... No. Yeah, it was definitely electric, so it must have heated them up. Electricity. That was bought, both those were bought as a luxury. Right? The deep fat fryer I used all the time for work for when I was doing canapes, because a lot of canapes that I deep fried, froze them, took them to the venue, bung them in the oven, and they all came up as they should
alive,
be.
Yeah,
alive. And the grill, this charcoal grill thing, was brilliant. I mean, steaks tasted wonderful on it.
The flavour.
Oh, just, and it was, we were all, even an ordinary cheap old sausage tasted good on it.
I like that. I've never thought about putting the griddle or something in. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. In my previous house, not this one, the one we grew up in, in Ledbury Road, where I spent 27 years of my life, we always had a griddle. We always had one of those grill ovens. Yeah, the old school style grill oven. Very big, made by Cordon Bleu, so very, very good brand.
Yeah.
4 hobs and 2 extra hobs on the right-hand side, which had grills on. They were hobs, but they had
they were flat surface.
Flat surface,
yes.
Flat plates. So, if you wanted to steak, charcoal, whatever it is, popped it on there, and it was gas burner. So it just absolutely stunningly worked, okay? So my mum never used it because she never really knew what it was. She wasn't really interested. She ovens there, grills there, cookers there.
Yeah.
But as we grew older, we turned and said, oh, what's this then? Put it on and go, oh, that's like heats up. That's like an oven or a griddle or something like that. So then we started doing our sausages and bacon and stuff on there.
The other thing it's very, very good for is for doing Scotch pancakes.
Now, I don't even know what a Scotch pancake is.
Right. A Scotch pancake is about the size of the mug. Okay.
So very small.
It's very small. It's a normal batter, but it's maybe just a fraction thicker. And you put it onto a hot, flat surface, and it all bubbles up. And when all the bubbles are up, you then flip it over and cook it the other side, and then you keep it warm. You either have it spread with butter whilst it's still hot, and strawberry jam for when the kids come home, they do it. And it's great because your kids do it, flipping it over and, or the other way to have it, which is what I always did because I had an Aga, was cook the bacon in the oven till it was very crisp. Scotch pancakes, very crispy bacon and maple syrup. Wonderful breakfast.
I've never tried that. Salty sweet.
Salty and sweet.
Neutral.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My nephew was telling me just last night or the night before, he said he went to somewhere in London and he ordered this milkshake, and it was salty sweet, right? And it was called the Elvis something. The Elvis, call it the Elvis milkshake, okay, whatever it was, Elvis smoothie. So he had in there, he had maple syrup, bits of pancake, bacon in a smoothie, and he had vanilla ice cream. He had the base of milk. He had all the usual stuff you have with it. but he had bacon in there, and he goes, it was just really odd and taste amazing.
Bet it would, yeah.
It was like a sugar sweet.
Yeah, and it's
salty bacon.
Yeah.
Creamy flavour from the milk and the butter, not butter, it was the milk and stuff. It was just amazing. I said, really? And I thought, back, I said, do you know what, that's actually, and it had peanut butter in it. That's right, peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
So that basically harks back to the salty.
And it also would bring everything together.
Bring it together, right, okay.
Yeah.
And he had peanut butter and a bit of jello in it, or jelly as they call it, or jam.
Jam,
We call it
yeah.
jam, right?
Yeah.
That's where it came up from. The other day we were in, on Sunday we were in Leicester, and we were in Handmade Burger Co. Mm-hmm. My other nephew, who was there with me, because my mum, sisters, and they're all abroad at the moment. They're in Greece and they're coming back tomorrow.
Oh, right.
They've been away for a week, and they all sat down together. And one of my nephews, they're two twins, and one of my nephews, they fit beautifully within my children. My oldest daughter, them, and then my second oldest daughter. They're all literally a year or so apart. Yeah, 2 years between each other. So, sorry, one of the twins turned around. He ordered a chicken burger, but it was called the peanut butter chicken burger, and it had peanut butter in it.
Yes.
It would have had jam in it.
Yes.
Chicken fillet.
Yes.
Cajun style coating.
Yes.
Salad, bits, pods.
It's like chicken satay.
Chicken satay. Ah, my goodness.
Chicken satay.
Yes, it is. You're spot on.
Yeah.
But he didn't have. He said, "Can you hold on the salad?" He's a bit of a boy. Can you hold on the jam? I love the peanut butter. I love the chicken. And then he added some ketchup when he came in.
Yeah.
Just to make it the way he
wanted. And some heat.
It was all hot. Oh, and no, he doesn't like heat.
Doesn't like heat.
Me, I would.
Yeah. I mean, when my parents were in Singapore, they heard about a place called the Satay Club.
Okay.
And had a fantastic reputation. And they said, we can't really afford it. Well, come on, let's go once. So they found out where it was, and they turned up, and they went, not what we thought it was going to be. It was near the docks, and it was 6-foot tables, and at each table you had, the guy that did it owned that table, and he had his own thing of frying and char grill to fry the satay sticks on, and he had the peanut dip, he had the hot peanut dip and just a sweet dip, and there was nothing else there, it was just satay. You just sat and ate the satay, and you ate until you were finished. And how you paid, how many sticks have you had? And I don't know, about 10 cents a stick. So it was the most wonderful satay I have ever eaten.
So it's just satay
and nothing else.
And the mixes.
Yeah, and the dips.
The dips.
That was it.
And you
there were
until you're full.
Yeah, and there were
6-7 tables.
20 tables.
Oh right, and each doing exactly the same.
Each doing exactly the same, and you had your own. The one you liked was the third one on the left, because his sauces were the better than anybody else's.
Yeah, so right, got it. So they all had
it was all street food.
Yeah,
but
they had their own ID.
Yeah.
Own repertoire, own flavours, and own styles.
Yeah. So it was fast food, and that was in the 60s.
Well, I tell you what, when I was in Singapore mid last year on some business, I was there and they took me to the river.
Yes.
To the sea port.
Yes.
Obviously, it's substantially changed.
Oh, of course it has, totally, yes.
Went up there and literally they had what you just said, but they didn't have the satay tables, they had huts.
Huts, okay, right, yeah.
And literally, I'm not joking, you came in, open air, sit down area, everyone sat communally.
Oh yes, it was all, all.
And all you do is just walk past and have whatever you want from whichever one of those stalls you wanted.
Yeah.
A bit like a food court, but not an air food court. You'd order it, buy it, bring it on your plate, sit down, they'll come and find you, they'll deliver your food. You go and pay for it, sit down, and they'll find you and put your food down in front of you.
This I meant to say was all open air.
Ah, so it's the same thing then?
Yeah, same thing.
So what they've done is they probably realised that's actually what they call their heritage and something unique they do. Because I do find that Singapore cuisine unbelievably balanced.
I can remember having chili crab at Pasir Panjang, right on the seafront.
Got it.
And it was chili. It was wonderful.
I tell you what, I'm going to do. You know, I remember telling you I was trying to take our people to just another area where my brain works and functions and how I know about the world. I mean, there's 3 or 4 places. Obviously, you've got all the Cayman Islands, Barbados, Jamaica, all that sort of tax haven area. Then you've got another area in the centre, which is Dubai. And then you've also got eastern areas, which are Singapore. And then you've got far eastern areas, which are Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the central band of the world, isn't it? So wherever you go, you've got this sort of flow. And then there are mid and southern Americas, which are in the same havens. Not so stable, but they are there.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the Brit stuff as well, like the Jersey Islands, the Cayman Islands, the Jersey, the Isle of Man, and that kind of stuff. So we've got all this flow, and I'm trying to work out. I'm going to actually do this, I think. But I think it's going to have to do with a handful of people. It has to be invitation only, because there's certain things in life that just can't be discussed. Yeah. And I'm thinking about just doing maybe a world tour, only 3 or 4 places, but showing people the benefits of each against the other, and why they would use one over another.
Yeah.
So a little bit of study before they go, and then when they're there, just to show them.
Yeah.
Here's how you use. This is the port you'd use for trade.
Yeah.
This is the port you'd use to hold your house stock.
Yeah.
And this is where you would go to secure your business. Because I can tell you this now. Dubai, a great through port.
Yes.
Okay. Barbados, secure holding.
Yeah.
Okay. Singapore, very much secure holding. More secure than all of the others.
Really? Gosh.
Absolutely. But secure. But that's where your financial business is seen. If you can get your businesses settled.
Because it's a very stable, because it had, Lee Kuan Yew was there for 40 odd, 50 years.
He made that into.
He was a benign dictator.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has made Singapore into what it is today, and nobody else could have.
No.
What it is now, let me give you an example. If I open up a company, which I've got a company up there, if you open up a company, the hoops that you have to jump through is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anything illegal, you're in. That's it.
Yeah.
Conversation. So if I'm working in my financial industries or financial circles, do you know what I do? I show them my structure in my purchase structure in Singapore. The benefit of that is that they immediately know that you're a squeaky clean guy.
Yes. Yeah.
So they say, okay, we'll do with you. So then we'll talk the conversation and it'll be done.
I mean, I can remember there's a company called CK Tangs in Singapore, which does the most beautiful linen work. It's actually more like a department store, but I remember one of the sections was it does this marvellous table linen. And this must have been I was in there in the 60s, this must have been in the 80s, and Colin was sending somebody out, one of his colleagues out to Singapore, and I said to him, can you please go to CK Tangs?
Buy me my linen.
And I just did a little, picture of it, and I said, it's grey, and this is linen, and the embroidery is grey on it. Sounds really awful, but it's really lovely.
Spot on.
And he came back, and I practically went nuts about the carrier bag, just as I did about the linen as well.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
So they really have something special over there. They do know, but then Dubai is, you can still get things done which you shouldn't get done. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. It's not so stable in the sense of it's like,
Yeah.
They still do. Singapore?
But they still, I'm sure, they still barter not barter.
Bartering is different. I'm talking about business structures.
Oh, business structures, yeah.
Oh, they don't mess around with business structure. If you open up a business over there are legal requirements, bar none.
Brilliant.
Don't get it done.
You don't.
They seize your asset, close your company.
Fantastic.
It's simple. Not interested.
I think it should be done all over the world.
Not possible though. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But this is also now the USP of Singapore.
Ah, yes.
So Singapore's known for that quality, that assurity, that regularity. People who open up a company in Singapore, they know that they've been vetted, checked, they have a stable environment, and if they're passing in through that place, it will get checked, triple checked and double checked. So all of the finance houses, all of them,
very safe.
have a holding in Singapore. Yeah. So a lot of the investment houses that we have, for example, give us your money and we'll give you 3% a year. Right. They do.
Yeah.
Still buy at 6%,
Yeah.
And they have the money in there and they put it away. And they hold themselves statutory in Singapore so that you have an assurity in the country. Let me give you an example. To give you a bit more example. Very expensive to live there.
Yes. Sure.
If you go and buy even just a McDonald's, it's an equivalent of £8.
Is it? Oh gosh, yes, because it was so cheap when I was there. It was dirt cheap. No. And the certain markets you went on in the evenings.
They were even cheaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, none of that. It's not there. It's just such an expensive place to live because the real estate, the land is so small.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we lived in. Tony worked for the army. He was in an army. He was in the army, and this was going to be Mum's first married quarters with him.
Oh.
And she turned it down, and you just didn't do that.
Oh, wow.
Because she said, "I'm not living here." It was awful. Yeah. And so Tony had to go and find a flat.
An expensive flat.
And so he found a flat. He was actually in the same block as flats as his captain. So he had to ask his captain, "Do you mind if I have..."
Do you mind? Yeah.
Yes.
That's an etiquette.
Yeah, absolutely. It was wonderful because the captain was on the ground floor and we were on the third floor, which meant we had all the breeze coming through.
Oh, wonderful.
And it was at Passapartout.
I love that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I went over there and had a tremendous time with such distinct visual changes and understanding, because there's a very established Indian culture over there.
Yeah.
Very established Indian business culture over there.
Oh, very much so.
Most of the malls are owned by Indian, Pakistani or some kind of origin. People were there throughout the whole of that transitional period. So they owned the land or they bought the property or something like that. So it's a very, very respectful space around Indians, Asians. It's very, very good business. I mean, I love it there.
And one of the reasons Mum turned it down was because she was the daughter of a brigadier.
Makes sense.
And, she was...
Yeah, that's right. That makes a lot of sense.
And the fact that she was married to a sergeant was neither here nor there. She said, "No way. I'm not going to live there."
Let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Let's bring it up. In fact, let me show you how to live.
Yeah.
But it's the most beautiful part of life, isn't it? Such great memories.
Yeah.
Remember one thing. Always remember these dear memories that come up, and think about how you did certain things.
Oh, yes.
But write them down.
Oh, for instance, we were talking about this the other day. I will never ever buy white shoes. Because only the wrong type of woman would ever buy a white pair of white shoes.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Even when I got married, they were cream. They're really white shoes. You're off the streets.
Bless you. There's a lot of knowledge that seems to have been lost.
Yeah. For instance, I never bought a pair of jeans until I was in my 50s. Because jeans are working men's trousers.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how they were when introduced, yeah?
Yeah. And we always used to change for dinner, and I was not allowed to wear trousers for dinner. You don't wear trousers for dinner.
That's so lovely.
Yeah. So that's why...
Well, this etiquette is what needs to be rewritten.
Very rarely do I wear trousers for going out. I do have a couple of really nice trousers.
I mean, you're always very dainty. You look so beautifully polished, is the word.
Yeah, because I like. I mean, at home I'm in jeans and a sloppy Joe. If you know what a sloppy Joe is.
I don't.
Right. A sloppy Joe is a jumper that's too big. And it's
just comfy.
It's just comfy.
It's one of the comfies. Now I know what that is, because my second oldest daughter does just that.
Yeah. You know what we haven't talked about is about the contract for the money.
It was on my first agenda, actually, but we got distracted.
We did, absolutely.
Now, here's the context. The contract for the money, you can press pause, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.